So I'm headed to a wedding near Chattanooga, and I've just realized that there are some things in my heart that I want to share. And if you are a young man, or if you are a man, period, married, single, doesn't matter, then this is for you. All right? It doesn't matter what stage of life you are, this is for you. And this is also for women. If you are in a relationship, any sort, whether you're dating, engaged, or married with a man, this is also for you. Because I want to talk about, in the next few minutes, talk about what it would look like for men to mature internally, both in their minds and in their hearts. What maturity will look like. What are some of the, I guess you can call them symptoms, or things that prove or express that a man still needs some healing and some maturity. So this video specifically for one main character trait that many men carry. And so if you like content like this, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know if at any moment this is like resonating with you. I would love to know in the comments. I'm always trying to discover what my content and my channel is about, honestly. And I'm just not trying to fall into the YouTube abyss and void of just doing content for content's sake, but doing something that's going to be helpful for people. So my name is Gus, and in case you didn't know who I am, so for the past 20 years, I have been involved in one way or another in ministry. So again, this talk will include some faith aspects to it, but even if you are not a person of faith or religious in any way, that's okay. This is also for you still. And I'm just saying that to say my background. And so part of that background was being a youth pastor for many years, being a young adult pastor, worship leader, and traveling around the world with a limbless motivational speaker and New York Times best-selling author. And so I was his caregiver, and we traveled to 30 different countries. And I've seen a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of people. I've met presidents with my friend that I traveled with, and encountered a lot of famous people. And it doesn't matter who you are as a man. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter your status quo. It doesn't matter what you drive. Okay, it doesn't matter where you live. That there are still men out there that need healing and need maturity and need somebody to like just wake them up and get them to understand you're not okay. You need some attention. And I don't mean just healing in the sense of like you're wounded and like, you know, like you're a victim all the time, but maybe that victim part plays a little bit of a role in this. So recently, in a premarital that my wife and I were doing, premarital counseling, I think it's also typical in a non-Christian setting, but it's basically a few weeks or a few sessions worth spread out through a couple months, maybe 3 to 4 months of premarital counseling. And the way that my wife and I approach this is we speak to the couple in front of us of what we think would be helpful for you to hear as you enter into marriage. We're not trying to help people prepare for a wedding because that's just a one moment thing. We're trying to help them for marriage. And so one of the things that commonly tends to come up, because for the most part, everybody we've done premaritals with is in their 20s. And I'm at this point right now, at the point of this recording, I am 39, and my wife is 2.5 years older than I am. And so right now she's 41, soon to be 42. And I see myself in these young men. And now that I see it, it's easier to call it out. And that's probably, I'm going to get to the point of what we're talking about. That's probably why some of the men that are watching this, or the men in your life if you're a woman, still deal with this type of behavior is because there are not many men around them, if any, who have actually overcome or healed in these areas. So let me paint you the picture now. I have 4 boys. I'm going to paint you the picture with the picture of my boys. Here's what happens. Children, whether you believe in gentle parenting or not, that's beside the point. Children tend to want things their way. And that is something that's just innate in us. And as a Christian believer, it is what we see and believe is that it comes naturally because of our sin nature, okay? Our fallen nature. But we as humans, especially as children, we tend to want things our way. All right? And already, even with that sentence, probably some of you out there, you are probably thinking, yeah, I know somebody like that, and they're not a child. Exactly my point. Exactly what we're talking about. Children tend to want things their way. My boys have moments where they tend to want things their way. And by they I mean children, they end up finding out that the more they do it, they're going to find out with their parents. If you're a parent, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Whether or not they can get what they want, because some kids have it built in them that they will keep pressing after the first no. They will press after the second no. They will press even after the 5th or even 10th no, knowing that if I just exhaust my dad, if I just exhaust my mom, they're going to say yes. And so they'll throw tantrums. And children will throw tantrums because that is their way, because there's no control on the inside. That is how they control people, by their tantrums. Because their tantrums cause this out of control environment that they just know, we know, period, that adults and parents don't want that. They don't like that. So if they want, they don't, in other words, they know the adults in their life that can't handle that, right? And so what they do is that if it's a tablet they want to see, they'll throw a tantrum in public, despite knowing that they may or may not get spanked, for those of you who do spanking, because they have this thought, it's just naturally in them. My mom doesn't know, my dad doesn't know how to respond to me, and so it's just easier for them to give it to me, so I'm going to throw a tantrum, throw myself on the floor, I'm going to scream, I'm going to do something, I'm going to drop things on the floor, whatever it is. Because it's going to be easier for them to give me the iPad than to try to control me in public, because my parents are going to look bad if they try to correct me or do something. And that's what happens, right? And kids learn this. And what happens is, in the same way that men might not have other men who have overcome and healed, if the parents don't know how to stand firm on their no, the kids will consistently and constantly do this, to the point where parents will just automatically give them a tablet in public before the kid even asks, because they train the parents to know, oh, this is about the time that my kid's going to go crazy, and so I need to give them the tablet now before this happens. Because for some reason, parents, I think we care a little too much of our reputation about what people think about us, more than we actually do the health, both heart-wise and mental-wise, of our own children. And so we would rather let the tablets and the systems, educate them or help them grow. And we would rather have them be the babysitter instead of us being the parent, if that makes any sense. So the more I've been discipling and mentoring young men for the past, I will say, at least 15 years of the 20 we've been in ministry, this is also true in women, but I see it in men because I see it in myself, and so I'm addressing the men in our lives or in your life because I'm just speaking as a man. So if you're a woman, if you see some of these traits in you, then this is, please, by all means, take whatever helps. Anyways, so what happens as men, I would say, now let me paint you the picture of me, that when I didn't get things my way, simple things with my friends, when I didn't get simple things, like we have 5 friends, let's say, and 2 of them want to go Chinese food, the other 2 want to go burgers, but I want pizza. And I'm stuck on pizza. I'm stuck on the fact that I was craving pizza and I want pizza. I want pizza. I want pizza. And kids, I want my tablet. I want my tablet. I want pizza, right? And what I used to do in my 20s is I used to literally make faces. I'm like, well, it's all right. I'm like, I guess I'm just going to go home, or no, it's fine. Like, I'll go with you guys, but I won't eat. And say things like that. And be like, yeah, well, I don't know. It's all right. Like, whatever. And then make people feel bad that they didn't choose what I chose. That's called manipulation. And to the point where I would get them to choose pizza with me. Because the same way that it's easier for a parent to just give the tablet, you know what? It's just pizza. Let's go get pizza. And the more I found that I can get things my way with my friends, the more I did it. The more I threw my adult tantrums. The more I did those things. And then in friendships that were closer, in relationships, if I was being confronted, this is where the poop hits the fan. If I was being confronted by my girlfriend, my now wife, what I would tend to do is, why do you have to say it so harshly? Or why are you angry at me? Or like, why is it that or this is the common language of young men, or should I say boys, it's because everything I do sucks. Everything I do is like, I always mess things up. I knew this would happen. Or why is it that I can never do anything right? Why is it? And we say things like that. And I'm guessing that maybe you right now listening to this, if you're a man, maybe you're already seeing yourself doing this. This is you. Or you know someone in your life who does this. And what we tend to do is divert, deflect, and just move the conversation over to, it's your fault for pointing out how much I suck. It's your fault for noticing how much I have not matured. Like, it's your fault. Like, why are you bringing these things up that make me feel bad? That's the adult tantrum. It's the adultolescence in us. It's the, like, I just suck. And what we tend to do comes from this place of narcissism, of actually, we don't actually think we suck that much. We actually love ourselves too much, to the point where I'm going to make this about me. I'm going to make you think and worry about me. Even though the conversation was about you correcting me, I'm actually just going to make you feel bad for even trying to do that. So we do that, and men do that. And men do that when they're in relationships with their girlfriends. Men do that in engagement, and men will do that in marriage. And guess what happens? Now, I'm hoping that it's not you when I say this next part. What tends to happen is that they end up turning their girlfriends or wives into their mom. And if you already know what that means, then you know. If not, let me explain it. Most of the time, us men, when we do that, is because we're used to our mom, caressing us and patting us on the back and telling us how special we are, how amazing, and like, no, you don't suck, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that so harshly, like, you don't suck, I think you're incredible, I think you're amazing, and this and that, and there we go. And it just, we're feeding that immature, unhealed young boy inside a man's body. And if you're a woman listening to this, I'm telling you right now, stop doing that. You are not your boyfriend's mom. You're not your husband's mom. And you could let me know in the comments. I will gladly make another video on how to get your husbands or boyfriends to find a man to actually mentor them through these things, so that they know what questions to actually ask, and you know what questions to ask. But we tend to do that. We'll just get the other person to turn around and be like, man, I suck. Why did I even say that? Why would I even make you feel bad? Like, I don't want to do that. Because at the end of the day, you were trying to correct them. Here's what correction is. Correction is bringing truth where change is needed. I'll say that one more time. Correction is bringing truth where change is needed. And that's all you were trying to do by confronting your boyfriend, your fiance, or your spouse, or even just your close friend. But we tend to just turn it around, make you feel bad for pointing out how horrible we are. And there you go, patting us on the back, saying how incredible and amazing we are, that you didn't mean it, that you were just frustrated, that you had a hard day, all these things. And yet, there we go. We keep living our immature lives. We keep living our unhealed mentality. And it comes from, and the reason why I'm saying unhealed or immature is that it comes from, it's like I said, it's the kid that shows up in a man's body in the 20s, 30-year-olds. It's that little boy in there that never got the actual attention he needed. Not the pat on the back that you're incredible and you're special, but it's actually the attention of somebody loving you enough to correct you. Somebody loving you enough to tell you you're wrong. This is not okay, and this is not normal. Like, you cannot act like that. And no, you're not getting your tablet. No, you're not getting your pizza, in my case. Because here's what happens. Let me paint you again a picture with my kids. A picture with my kids is my kids decides to throw a tantrum. Guess what? I don't care what people think about me. My kid is making his own choice to throw himself on the floor, to start crying, start screaming. Guess what? You're going to get a serious talk from me when we get home. Because if I try to spank you in public, someone's going to try to say something or whatever. But if I try to have a harsh conversation, someone is going to get triggered and be like, oh my God, and I don't know. There's just too much sensitivity out there right now. But what I'm saying is, go ahead, throw your tantrum. Guess what I'm going to do? If I'm in the store, I'm going to keep shopping. I will let them know, hey, I will be done in 5 minutes. I'll meet you at the front if you're ready. All right? But you can stay right here. And what happens when we do that to the boys or to the men is that they realize that no one's there to watch them throw their tantrum. In other words, they're losing control. They've lost control. When my boy realizes I'm not there to watch him, I'm not there for him to put up a show and throw a tantrum, guess what? He just lost control. He just lost the fight. I'm okay. I'm going to keep living. You're not dying. You are fine. And when the men in our lives, I'm saying that because of my friends, I'm saying the other men that we are mentoring, the men in your life do that, just walk away. You say, hey, I think you're having a hard time right now. Let me know when you're ready to talk. I'll see you later. Or I'm just going to go for a walk. I'll see you later. But why are you leaving me? Like, you just don't care. I'm like, no, I care. I think you just need some time. I'm just going to walk away. And it might be hard for you the first few times, if I'm honest. Whether it's your friend or it's a boyfriend or spouse, it might be hard. Because they're not used to people stopping them in their tracks and saying no. It's like the deer caught in the headlights. It's like, oh my God. And if you've ever seen a tantrum baby, they get to this point where they're just trembling and they go, and it's like they don't know what to do with themselves anymore because no one's ever dared to stop them. No one's ever dared to put a boundary, to say no and say, hey, you know what? we're not saying it like this. We're like, hey, you're a little too much right now. I'll see you in a few minutes. I just let them know, hey, you know what? I still got some shopping to do. It looks like you still got some tantrum to do. I'll see you in a few minutes. I'll be in the front in 5 minutes, so make sure you keep an eye on the time, whatever. Even if it's my 6-year-old son, if it's my 8-year-old son, they throw different tantrums. My 11-year-old son, or even my soon-to-be 5-year-old son. I was like, I'll see you in a few minutes. Or I'll be over here when you're done. You let me know when you're ready to talk. And what I have to do as a dad is that I'm starting to help. I have to help my boys mature. And even in small practical ways, because what happens with my boys is that when they calm down, they're ready to talk. And here's what happens. I let them know. I was like, hey, when you do that, I think you feel like it helps you, but it just makes it hard to talk to you. I don't think we can make decisions together when you're throwing a tantrum. And so you could say that I recently said that to a young man. I was like, hey, when you talk like that and you deflect and you try to make me feel bad, it's just hard to have a conversation with you. Like, I don't know if I'm having a conversation with an adult man anymore. I feel like I'm having a conversation with my son. And they know exactly what that means, because it's like, wait, I am a man. What? I am 25 or I'm 30, I'm this. And it's like, no, but you're acting your shoe size right now. And it's just a little hard. So yeah, it's simple things like that. And that starts the conversation, because the more you start practicing and doing that and putting a boundary for the man in your life, they'll start waking up to the fact that, oh shoot, I have lost control of this person. And it doesn't mean that they've lost you as a friend. And guess what happens? They're going to keep trying it for a bit. They're going to try it, and again, because we're used to testing the waters, they're going to try it again, and they're going to say, no, it's because you changed. You're not the same. No, I'm actually the same. I think I just realized that I just can't have a conversation with you when you're in those moods. And when you're ready to hear exactly how I experience you, let me know. I will let you know. I will tell you exactly how. And those are the moments where they need to hear the hard truths. It just feels like I'm talking to a little boy who's throwing an adult tantrum. These things shake men to the core. And they do one of two things. It's either fight or flight. And by fight, I don't mean fight with you. I mean, hey, you know what? You're right. I need to stop. And if they ask for help, hey, how do you think I should stop? I was like, you know what? If you're a woman, you can say, that's a great question. You need to talk to a man, because only men can show men how to be men. And if you are a man and they're asking you, hey, I would love to help you. I will gladly help you. I will be an accountability partner. We can together find somebody who can walk and talk into our lives. Or you might be already that man and talk to somebody's lives. Or this might be you, and you need to talk to someone. You need to find a man who is in a state of mind and life that you desire. Because I know the deep down desire that you have. You don't desire to remain a boy. I know that. That was me. There was this deep lie that I believed that I will never change. I can't change. How am I going to change this? This is all I know. Because the more we give into something, the more we begin to believe this is who I am and this is who I will always be. I'm letting you know that's a lie. You have permission to change and to grow and to mature. And that's all I have for you. So if you have any comments or questions on what I just said, or if you like what I just said and some of these things were helpful, please let me know in the comments. You could also let me know by subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with a friend or a man or a boy around you in your life, some other man, your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it is. But at the same time, this also applies to women. And I think at that point, there's a different type of response to them. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.